Hello crochet friends, it's Beanie-Tastic time number 9. Welcome to my crochet adventures. I'm G and this is G Crochet Off the Hook. And today there are 8 fantastic beanies off the hook which I have to share, which is fabulous news because that means that I have 16 beanies stacked in my stash and ready for drop-off at a local collection point for distribution. Now, as I have mentioned, I've been crocheting beanies for many years, usually beanies for babies, and this year with YouTube Adventures, I've been crocheting beanies with many of you and Litsa from Coco's Crochet, who has a Beanie of the Week amongst many of her enjoyable vlogs, and Laura from Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming, who is under hashtag BotHatterPalooza, drawing beanies from Bag O' Day's many fabulous beanie tutorials. So my beanies for a cause have grown over these last 6 months, which ultimately means to me hashtag crochet brings joy, as a small kindness in every way does matter. Now I did decide to do a few little stats for myself from January to June. I have them written down here. And they're just interesting stats to keep a note of for myself, that from January to June, I have crocheted 57 different beanie patterns. And just off the top of that list, the most amount of beanies have been from Bag O' Day. There have been 25 beanie patterns. Then there have been 3 MJ's off the hook patterns, 3 patterns from Day's Crochet, 3 patterns from Spring the Fiber Enthusiast, 2 patterns from Coco's Crochet, 2 patterns from Repeat Craft Me, and very quickly I am going to read the other beanies which we've all made one from, which is Nastasia, Annie Caraway, Slow Crochet, Fiber Spider, The Turtle Trunk, CJ Designs, Ali SA Loves Crochet, Rich Textures Crochet, Lullaby Lodge, Crochet with Judy, Yarnspiration, Hey Carrie, Brianna K, 5 Little Monsters, Cinnamon Stitches, Jayda InStitches, and Pretty Darn Adorable. So I thought that was quite an interesting stat to have on hand for myself. And perhaps I'll do another one at the end of December when we've done another 6 months of beanies. So heading into today's 8 beanies off the hook. In no particular order. I haven't quite broken them down between the 2 cowls. I'm just going to grab them as they come up from the top of my beanie basket here. And the first one we're going to start with is the Distorted Reality Beanie. It's a Bag O' Day beanie. And for this one I used Charity's Chunky, this big ball of yarn, and this color was dark cherry. I used a 5.5 millimeter hook. Here's the beanie. It was a top-down beanie and another fabulous tutorial by Crystal. So that was our first beanie, Distorted Reality Beanie. The next beanie that I have, which was a Bag O' Day beanie, was her Corner to Corner hat. This was also a top-down. And for this one, I used another Charity, but this was just the DK one in the colorway Nutmeg. And for this one, I used a 6 millimeter hook, and I made a little handmade pom-pom from some scraps that I had. There are actually 2 different colors in there, you can't quite see it. But another fun beanie, top-down from Crystal. It's the Corner to Corner, and I did have, with that pattern, she does also do a Corner to Corner scarf. Now I was using scrap yarn, so I didn't quite have enough to make a scarf, so I decided to make this a cowl with some scrap yarn that I had. Everybody loves a corner to corner stitch. This is a double crochet corner to corner, and you can obviously adjust it to any size you want. And that is part of Crystal's tutorial for the corner to corner beanie and scarf. So we have those off the hook. The next was, I think this is, sorry, I'm just grabbing them as they've come up from the basket. This was another Bag O Day beanie. It's the Supersonic Beanie. This was a really fast beanie to make, as I did use a Kismet Stonewash bulky yarn, and it is a lovely bulky yarn. I didn't know I had this in my stash, so it was nice to find it. And I did use that with some Poolskin Lyrics. There's no color name, but it is a beautiful purple, just to add some supersonic sparkle to the beanie. I think somebody is going to really feel special with this one. So that was, and I used a 10mm hook, the Supersonic Beanie, also from Crystal at Bag O Day. Let's move these out of the way. And the last Bag O Day beanie was this gorgeous one. It's called the Neurotic Obsession Beanie. This is one where once you've made the crown, you then create this beautiful like wave, and you create that by turning at the end of each round. So you're working from the front and you're working from the back as you go around. And for this one I used a 5mm crochet hook with this lovely variegated yarn, Nova Cassia Brillo. It's 97% acrylic and 3% polyester, which is why I think it has a lovely squishy soft texture to it. So those were our Bag O Day beanies. And then starting from the top of this pile here, now it did work out rather well for me. I used this yarn that I have quite a few more in my stash. It's a lovely acrylic yarn. It's all I know of it is that it's called Bianca and that it is made in Turkey. It's a 100% acrylic, lovely soft squishy yarn, and washes up really well as well. And the first beanie I can show you on that one is this beautiful beanie. It's called the Landslide Beanie by Spring the Fiber Enthusiast, and I used a 6mm hook. And I love the way the stripes came out. This is also a top-down beanie. You have your repeats in the middle section here, and then you can make your brim, which is a very enjoyable front post, back post, stitch as long or short as you need it for your beanie to fit. And this one ball, which has, let's just double check, it has, it's a 100-gram ball. It has 260 meters. I got two fabulous beanies out of this, and all I had left at the end, because I'll show you the other beanie now, was enough to make a little heart, which I've just attached to the top here. It is removable, so whoever gets this beanie will have a little heart that they can perhaps put on their backpack to travel around with. So that was the Landslide Beanie by Spring the Fiber Enthusiast, 6mm hook. And the other one, which is just as fun and absolutely well. This is a pattern by Pretty Darn Adorable. It's a top-down spiral hat, and I used the same yarn. And this was such a delight to crochet. And again, you can see how the yarn, this is all from the same skein, how the yarn stripes out there. But then on top of that, with this beanie, also used the 6mm hook with this yarn. It is reversible. So first of all, admire all the texture, because this is just a delight. But you could turn the beanie inside out and have the texture on the inside and this beautiful pattern all on its own from the way that you've created the stitches on the other side. So how fashionable is this? I haven't had a beanie that you can wear inside out with such a difference in the texture. So this was fabulous to make up, and I'm sure it's going to make somebody feel very special. Our top-down spiral hat by Pretty Darn Adorable. So both these beanies with this one skein using a 6mm hook. I love it when it works out like that. Moving right along, going back to the Kismet Stonewash bulky yarn. I also got to use it for the Woolly Winter Hat by Jayda InStitches. Now, this was an awesome tutorial. I used a 10mm hook. The pattern did work up really quickly. And even though I had been warned, listening to some of the information that Litsa gave us, this pattern uses a single crochet V-stitch. And the single crochet V-stitch does seem to pull in rather tight. So if I do this one again with this super bulky yarn, which I have more of, I might be tempted to go up to 12mm and try to make my single crochet V-stitches a little more loose. Of course, I unfortunately also didn't change my hook size for the brim. You should try to go down by one size. I didn't, so this beanie stretches and is fabulously warm. But the brim does look a little bit loose because I kept crocheting from top to bottom with the 10mm hook. Regardless, it is a super beanie and I know that it's going to make somebody very happy. That was our Woolly Winter Hat from Jayda InStitches. And then we have another beanie that surprised me by the size that it came out at. And this is the Baelynn beanie by Days Crochet. I used a 9mm hook, and this is the yarn that I used. It's Classic Yarns Rhythm printed. It's 80% acrylic, 20% polyamide. This yarn is gorgeous for beanies, but having watched Days Crochet tutorial, this is not a very thick yarn, so I knew what I would try to do so I could use a 9mm hook was that I doubled 2 of these balls in this colorway, and that way I didn't have to adjust the pattern at all. I could just work it the way she had it, trying to marry the yarn. This is also a top-down beanie, and it's a turn at the end of each row. And we had, that's the top, but it did turn out rather large, which is fabulous for us because I'm sure there's somebody who this will fit perfectly. So that was the Baelynn beanie by Days Crochet with a 9mm hook. Awesome. Then moving on to, not moving on, those were my 8 beanies. Wow, we went through that super fast, which is awesome. So just a very fast recap then, because I'm always excited when I'm able to make a drop off, especially since our weather has been every season in one day. At sometimes it does seem. We've even just come off a weekend of having 30 degrees plus Celsius for summer and winter, but the gale force wind that blew like it was nobody's business has taken that hot air away, and we are back to our grey skies and chilly cold weather outside. So I'm so happy that I'll be able to get these beanies, and they will be just in time for the cold front that's hitting us. So what do we have? We will be taking this one. I'm sure somebody can make use of this cowl. This gorgeous corner to corner. This one. This lovely super bulky warm one. These fashionable ones, I just know they're going to bring somebody a lot of joy. And then from the last lot that I have in my stack, we will also be taking this one through, and this one. And I did check, I didn't take the pumpkin beanie through, but this rabbit beanie, I have been told, will be perfect for a little one in this particular group that will be receiving these. We have this one. We have this bucket hat. Do we remember this slouchy? And then, as I said, I have been made aware that this will be able to find the right person at this particular distribution, which means my heart is so joyful, because this mummy and beanie, tulip beanie from Coco's Crochet's tutorial, will also find their perfect match at this distribution point. And that's it, folks. That's BEANIE-Tastic #9, and we love it. And I will continue to add to my 57 beanie patterns for the second half of this year, and we'll see how many new designers tutorials we can add to our list as well. That's for me. That's for me. That's it for me. Until I see you all again, happy crocheting. Enjoy your kindness if you are able to share, even if it's just one wrap of warmth, whether it's a blanket, a beanie, a toy to somebody in need. They do appreciate it, and you are seen for that wonderful work that you are able to share with somebody out there in the big wide globe. Stay warm, stay cool if you're up in the northern hemisphere, and until I see you all again, happy crocheting.